2-year-old pacing fillies are at the post. And the gate is rolling. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Timely Tony first out. Away second, Pan Fried. Racing third on the inside, Honey Crick Missy. Away 4 along the rail, Appropriate Action. Racing 5 far outside, Fox Valley Brassy. Pacing 6, Skip Bahula. 7 on the inside, Naya Princess. Away 8 as they power to the first turn, Punky's Oil. Dropped in racing 9, Lollipop Riot. And at the back of that field, Sweet Gijo as they approach the quarter-mile station, being led by Pan Fried. Pan Fried on top by a length and a half. Racing second and 30 seconds, Honey Crick Missy. Pacing next as they turn down the backside. On the inside, Timely Tony. And tipped out 4 now third. There goes Appropriate Action. That's Appropriate Action rolling on the outside. Will make the top before the half for Jim Curran. Pacing second also. Tipped out and rolling Skip Bahula. Racing third on the inside, Pan Fried. 4 on the outside. Moving Fox Valley Brassy. 5 along the rail, Honey Crick Missy. 6 tipping to the outside, Timely Tony as they approach the half-mile station. Racing 7, Lollipop Riot. 8 past that marker, Punky's Oil. 9, Naya Princess. At the back, Sweet Gijo. They're there a minute 1/5. The 2-year-old pacing fillies are past the draw gate. Racing with the lead now, Skip Bahula for Dirk Simpson. Pacing second on the outside, easing up back ahead, and Fox Valley Brassy. Pacing third also, moving Timely Tony with cover on the outside. 4 along the rail as they approach the 3/4 Appropriate Action. Racing 5 middle of the racetrack, Lollipop Riot. 6 Pan Fried. 7 tipped out 3 deep, Naya Princess. They're past the 3/4. 8 Honey Crick Missy. 9 moving from the back, Punky's Oil. 10 at the back of that field, and 1:33 as they turn for home, Sweet Gijo. The 2-year-old pacing fillies are in the lane. Racing with the lead, Skip Bahula. Middle of the racetrack, Fox Valley Brassy. 3 deep, Timely Tony coming at him. 4 wide, Pan Fried. Skip Bahula fighting. Coming on far outside, Pan Fried with Brian Pelling. Pan Fried wins it. Pan Fried unofficially in that one, 2:01 4/5. Brian Pelling driving. Pan Fried unofficially. And the gate is rolling. Recall. Recall. Here they come. They're off and pacing far outside. She'll Be Charming first out. French Frolic off stride. Off stride also Ariel Bow. On the inside, away second, Jan's Racer. Pacing third between them, Lil Dumplin as they power to the first turn. On the outside, there goes Lil Dumplin rolling up to take command. On the inside, pacing second, Jan's Racer. Third on the outside, rolling, not finding cover, Interlude. Moving for Lil Paul. Racing next on the inside, Almace Acres. Pacing 6 on the outside, She'll Be Charming. 7 along the rail as they slip past the quarter, Blazing White. Racing 8, Dames Rocket. Pacing 9 as they turn down the backside and race toward the half-mile station of the quarter in 29 3, Jano Lita. Racing next, French Frolic. And at the back of that field, Ariel Bow as they straighten toward the half. They're being led on the inside, down the backside by Interlude. But now on the outside, tipped out and driving toward the front. There goes She'll Be Charming. She'll Be Charming makes the top. Also out and rolling Lou as they race past the half-mile station, Amish Acres. And now Amish Acres makes the top for Pletcher. They were there 59 3/5. Amish Acres on top. Racing second on the outside, easing up Blazing White. Third along the rail, She'll Be Charming. 4 moving middle of the racetrack, Dames Rocket. 5 Interlude. Racing 6 as they move toward the 3/4, Jan's Racer. Pacing 7 toward that station, Little Dumplin. Racing next, Lil Paul. Pacing 9, Jano Lita. 10 French Frolic. And at the back of that field, Ariel Bow. They're at the three-quarter. They're past that marker, 129 4/5. They're in the final quarter mile. On the inside, Amish Acres. Middle of the racetrack, Blazing White as the 2-year-old pacing fillies turn for home. And now fillies beginning to move behind the leader in the lane. On the inside, Amish Acres. Middle of the racetrack, Blazing White. 3 deep. Here comes Dames Rocket. And 4 wide, Jan's Racer on the outside. Jan's Racer. Dames Rocket, middle of the racetrack. Dames Rocket fighting for life. Little Paul far outside. Photo. 159 4/5, and that's the photo finish. Dames Rocket, middle of the racetrack. Lil Paul with a big flourish in the stretch. 5 deep, and that. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Dorfonius grabs the racetrack. Out second, Hot Rocks. Away third between them, Racing Satellite. Racing 4 on the inside, Scarlet White. Away 5, far outside, Miss Silvus. Racing 6 on the inside as they power to the first turn and race toward the quarter-mile station. Loma Lee. Pacing 7, State Queen. Away 8, 3 deep and rolling, Fox Valley Jenna. Racing 9 between them, She'll Be Spicy. Pacing 10, Sue Ellen Sign. Racing 11, Bubblegum. And at the back of that field, Mystical Sweetness as they slip past the quarter in 29 seconds. They're being led as they turn down the backside by Dorfonius. Dorfonius on top. Racing second, Hot Rocks. Third on the outside. Moving down the backstretch, Miss Silvus. Racing 4 along the rail as they approach the half-mile station, Scarlet White. Pacing 5 as they approach that station. Still moving, Fox Valley Jenna. Racing next, Racing Satellite. 7 moving middle of the racetrack, She'll Be Spicy. Racing 8, Loma Lee. 9 moving now, 8 on the outside as they slip past the half-mile station, Bubblegum. Racing 10, Sue Ellen Sign. 11, State Queen. And at the back in 59 and 2, Mystical Sweetness as they slip past the draw gate. Racing with the lead on the inside, Dorfonius. On the outside, easing up around the turn as they race toward the three-quarter, Miss Silvus. Third on the inside, buried along the rail, Hot Rocks. 4 on the outside with cover, Fox Valley Jenna. And tipping out 3 deep with a big move. Here comes... In race 3, the race just completed. In race 3, number 2, Scarlet White. After a thorough review, she interfered with number 12, Sue Ellen Sign, past the three-quarter. Therefore, Scarlet White is 2, placed 8. Scarlet White, 2-year-old trotting fillies are at the post. And the gate is rolling. Cammy Ranger from 1, winner of the Lady Lincolnland in Chicago. Easy Alice was second to her. Allison's Happy Gal off stride. Here they come. They're off and trotting. Go Intentionally grabs the racetrack. Out second on the inside, Cammy Ranger. Trotting third between them, Miss Centerfold. Away 4 on the inside, Tarbella Jade. Trotting 5, Second Class. Racing 6, Heather Iona. 7 far outside, Jane O'Tally. Trotting 8, Easy Alice. Away 9, Jane O. Rachel. Off stride, Prairie Wind. And at the back of that field, after a mistake behind the gate, Allison's Happy Gal as they roll toward the quarter, being led by Cammy Ranger. Cammy Ranger on top by a length for J.D. Finn as they slip past that station in 29 and 2. Trotting second as they turn down the backstretch. Go Intentionally. Racing third, Miss Centerfold. 4 on the outside, not finding cover and rolling now down the backstretch, Second Class. Trotting 5, also moving from the back of that field as they approach the half-mile station, Heather Iona. Racing next on the inside, Tarbella Jade. They're being led as they approach the half-mile station by Cammy Ranger. Cammy Ranger on top. Trotting second on the outside, inside, easing up second class. Racing third along the rail, go intentionally for Heather Iona. 5, Miss Centerfold. Trotting 6, moving Jane O'Tally. Racing 7, past the half, Tarbella Jade. Trotting 8, moving up Jane O'Rachel. Racing 9, Becky Snag. And 10, moving from the back of that field is Easy Alice. They are there, 101, 1/5. And Allison's Happy Gal trots 11, and 12 at the back, Prairie Wind. They're at the 3/4. Trotting with the lead at that station on the inside, Cammy Ranger. Racing second, past that station, second class. And tipped out 3 deep. Here comes Easy Alice. That's Easy Alice with Dwight Banks trotting a storm on the outside. They were there, 133, 4/5. And now as they approach the final 8th mile, on the inside, Cammy Ranger. Middle of the racetrack, Easy Alice. Those two battling in the final 8th. 3 deep, go intentionally coming at them. Go intentionally, 3 wide. Middle of the racetrack, Easy Alice. Go intentionally with Ron Marsh unofficially. Home second, Easy Alice. Under the wire third, Cammy Ranger, 2:03 and 2. And that trip for 2-year-old trotting fillies. From 3, Dave Fagan will drive. Miss Noble Hair from 3, Dave Fagan, and here they come. They're off and trotting. Gin Miss grabs the racetrack. Out second on the inside. Miss Noble Hair trotting third along the rail. Straight Aim. Away 4. Jarko Karen trotting 5 on the inside. Cardinal Pearl racing 6 as they drive to the first turn. Clara E trotting 7. Gamby Sweetheart racing 8 as they roll to the lower turn and drive toward the quarter-mile station. Racing 8 now. Stunning Gal trotting 9 after mistake. Gorgeous Burger at the back of that field. Tiffany Triton off stride as they slip past the quarter, 29 3/5. Trotting with the lead, Gin Miss. Racing second, Miss Noble Hair. Trotting third down the backside, Jarko Karen. Racing 4, Straight Aim. Trotting 5 as they straighten toward half-mile station, Cardinal Pearl. 6, Princess Laura. Trotting 7 down the backside, Clara E. Racing 8, Gamby Sweetheart. 9, Stunning Gal. 10, Gorgeous Burger. And 11 at the back of that field of 2-year-olds, Tiffany Triton. Off stride, taken up middle of the field, down the backside, Straight Aim. They're being led past the half by Gin Miss. They are there, 102. Trotting second on the outside, tipped down and rolling. There goes Cardinal Pearl, rolling right toward the front. Racing third, Miss Noble Hair. 4 moving Clara E. 5 on the inside, Jarko Karen. 6 tipping to the outside, Gamby Sweetheart. 7 moving middle of the racetrack, Princess Laura. 8, Gorgeous Burger. Trotting 9 at the 3/4, Stunning Gal. 10, Straight Aim, and Tiffany Triton can see the entire field of 2-year-old trotting fillies. They're at the 3/4. They're past that station, 133 3/5. And now as they turn for home, on top, Gin Miss for Indiana's Jim Taylor. Gin Miss on top in the lane. Trotting second on the inside, Miss Noble Hair. Third middle of the racetrack, Cardinal Pearl. Racing 4 in the final 8th mile, trying to move up, Princess Laura. 5, Jarko Karen. 6, Gamby Sweetheart. And now in the final 16th, Gin Miss is strong. Coming on the outside, Princess Laura with the flourish. Was going to be Gin Miss winning it. Photo for second in that trip. Home 4 unofficially was Jarko Karen, 2:05 flat. Gin Miss with Jim Taylor driving unofficially 2:05 flat. Two-year-old pacing fillies are at the post. And the gate is rolling. Fox Valley Jana 59 and 2 with the fastest elimination, and here they come. They're off and pacing. Dorfanius grabs the racetrack. Out second on the inside, Pan Fried. Racing third, middle of the racetrack, Timely Tony. Away 4 on the inside, Fox Valley Jenna. Racing 5 far outside, Jan's Racer as they power to the first turn. Away 6, Interlude. Pacing 7, Lil Paul. 8 on the inside as they turn down the back, race toward the quarter-mile station. 8 on the outside now as Skipahula. Racing next, Hot Rocks. Pacing with the lead as they approach the quarter-mile station, Dorfanius. Racing second, back length past that station on the inside, Pan Fried. Third on the outside, not finding cover, and 28-3, Jan's Racer. Racing next down the back stretch, Fox Valley Jana. Pacing 5, middle of the racetrack, Timely Tony. Racing 6, moving from the back of the field as they approach the half-mile station. And race down the backside, Lil Paul. Pacing 7 as they approach the half on the inside, Dame's Rocket. 8 down the backside, Skip Bahula. Racing 9, Fox Valley Brassy. 10, Interlude. 11, Hot Rocks. And 12, moving from the back, Bubblegum. They're at the half, 58-2. Pacing with the lead off the half and 58-2 on the inside, Dorfanius. Second on the outside, still moving, has not seen the rail the entire mile as they approach the three-quarter, Jan's Racer. Third along the rail, been there all the way, Pan Fried. 4 tipping to the outside, 3 deep coming at him. Here comes Timely Tony. That's Timely Tony with Richie Thompson backed out 3 wide at the three-quarter. Pacing with the lead at that station, Dorfanius. Racing second, moving Timely Tony. Racing third past that station, buried, no place to go, trying to get shook loose, and now finally popping to the outside. Here comes Pan Fried. They're there, 131 fifth, and 2-year-old pacing fillies are coming from everywhere in the lane. Far outside, Lil Paul. Lil Paul with Stan Banks 3 deep. Coming back, Pan Fried. On the inside, Fox Valley Jana finally sees daylight. Lil Paul and Pan Fried. Lil Paul, Pan Fried photo. Home 3 in that trip, Fox Valley Jana. 4 was Interlude, and that's the photo finish. Lil Paul and Pan Fried in that one. 159-2.
First elimination, 6 to return in this 3-year-old event. This race named for State Treasurer Jerry Cosentino. And right now, first elimination at the post. Gates moving. Here they come. They're off and trotting from the outside. Idlewiles Many for the lead. Noble Luge out with her. Mapnarak between trotters third. Call Me Princess 4. W.O.'s Jet gets away 5th. On the inside, off stride is Nordell Scoundrel as that field slips around the turn, trotting toward the quarter-mile mark. Idlewiles Many leads the way by a length and a half on the outside. Driving up second as they swing around the turn, Noble Luge. Now she makes a top before the quarter. Tucked in third along the rail, W.O.'s Jet. Call Me Princess finds room 4th. On the inside, Mary T-Shirt 5th. Racing 6 along the rail. Tough Phil's Hope as they race past the quarter. 7 is ICU 2. Trotting 8 on the inside, Miss Miser as they sweep down the backstretch. Racing 9th after an early break as they drive toward the half is Nordell Scoundrel. Front panel in 30-1. And now they're racing toward the half-mile mark and rolling on the outside as they race down the backside and making the top now by a neck, by half a length. As they reach the half will be Call Me Princess. They are at that mark and racing past it in a minute 4/5. On the inside, Noble Luge. On the outside, Call Me Princess. Trotting third, Idlewiles Many. Along the rail 4th is Tough Hill's Hope. On the outside, here comes ICU2. ICU2 moving with authority as they're off the half in a minute 4/5, trotting toward 3/4. Here comes ICU2, ranging up for Tom Wiley. On the inside, Noble Luge second. Between them, dropping back third, Call Me Princess. And Tough Hill's Hope joins the chase 4 deep. They're past 3/4, 131 2/5. And now at the top of the lane in the final quarter mile, ICU2 on the outside. On the inside, Noble Luge joining them 3 wide as they turn for home. And are in the final 16th is Miss Miser. Now Miss Miser picks up the chase. Tough Hill's Hope has dropped back as they race toward the wire. On the outside, Miss Miser. ICU2 leads it. And now on the inside, coming on again, Tough Hill's Hope. ICU2 wins it by a neck. 3-horse photo for second. Miss Miser, Tough Hill's Hope, Mary T-Shirt in that photo for place. Unofficially, ICU2 has won. Major Illinois Stakes winners in this field. Nordell Quavev won the Stallion Stake. Gamby Sugar, the Violet. Here they come. They're off and trotting from the outside. Rush Creek Shannon between horses Noble Touch. Also out fast Nordell Quovev as they race toward the turn. On the inside, Hillbilly Bully will get away fifth. Steel Gated couldn't find room up front. Has dropped back now to be eighth as they trot around the turn, racing toward the quarter-mile mark and trotting with the lead. Nordell Quovev on the outside. Ranging up Rush Creek Shannon now second, and along the rail Noble Touch third. On the outside, trotting fourth F.E. Patsy. Along the rail, Hillbilly Bully five. There goes Gamby Sugar from six, now five, now four. Trotting along the rail seven as Gamby Starlight, eighth on the inside installed, nine Steel Gated. At the back, Mary Lou Kay. They race past the quarter, 28-4, rolling as they race onto the backstretch. Trotting toward the half-mile mark. On the outside, driving up now to lead it is F.E. Patsy. On the outside, here comes Gamby Sugar. Ranging toward the front, driving now back a neck, back ahead. Third on the inside is Rush Creek Shannon. Fourth along the rail, Nordell Quovev. Trotting five, Noble Touch. On the outside, Hillbilly Bully six, Gamby Starlight seven, eight is Steel Gated, nine installed, 10 Mary Lou Kay. Half trotted 58, they're past the draw gate. Racing toward three quarters, trotting fillies being led by Gamby Sugar by a length. On the inside, second F.E. Patsy. On the outside, here comes Nordell Quovev, third closing. Racing outside, Hillbilly Bully with trot. She'll come three deep, and the Kentucky County Fair champion is joining the chase. She's three wide past three quarters, and everybody in contention as they reach that mark. And 129.2. They're in the final quarter mile. Nine fillies are still in the chase as they turn for home. Chase as they turn for home. On the inside, as they're in the lane, Gamby Sugar. On the extreme outside, Hillbilly Bully. And now, here comes Steel Gated. Big move, middle of the racetrack. Steel Gated far outside. Outside her, Rush Creek Shannon trying. And on the inside, Gamby Sugar fights for life. Here comes Gamby Starlight. Gamby Starlight gets it. 2 minutes, 2:50. Joe McCluskey's and Kentuckiana Farms, Jate Lobel from 4. Samara Stables back to basics 3. Jim Rock Jake, owned by Bobby Decker, along the rail. On the outside, Archie Wyatt's Rosie's Rorty. They're at the post. Here they come. They're off and pacing on the outside. Jate Lobel first away, but now on the inside, back to basics. Takes command. He'll lead him to the quarter-mile mark. And Jate Lobel will tuck behind his stablemate as they drive now around the turn. On the inside, dropped in third is Rosie's Rorty. Jim Rock Jake will trail as they race now toward the quarter-mile mark. And the leader is back to basics with Frank O'Mara. Mark O'Mara waits with Jate Lobel as they roll toward the quarter. On the inside, third, Rosie's Rorty and Jim Rock Jake. They're past the quarter, 26-2. And that compares with Nihilator's front panel 2 years ago at the Meadowlands. They're on the backstretch, racing down the backside. Waiting still is Jate Lobel, back to basics, leads him toward the half, and they're rolling as they race toward the half-mile mark. Third on the inside is Rosie's Rorty. 4 is Jim Rock Jake, approaching the half-mile mark with back to basics off a quarter, 26-2. Approaching that station now. Here comes Jate. He makes his move right now. Up on the outside, Jate Lobel. He's at the half, 53-3. He's a fifth of a second ahead of Nihilator, a full second ahead of Nia Tross. He races past the draw gate, and one of the premier pacers the sport has ever known is now opening daylight on the field. Jate Lobel racing now against the clock as he heads toward three quarters. Off the half, 53-3. Jate rolls toward the three-quarter mile mark, and the No Nukes 3-year-old, the 2-year-old of the year a year ago, winner of $1,000,006, is at the three quarters, and this will tell the story. 1:21-1, ladies and gentlemen, the fastest three quarters in the history of the sport. He could be there today. Top of the lane, Jate Lobel, 1:21-1 for three quarters, is in the stretch. And now at the eighth pole, he appears to be tiring a bit, as you would expect, with three quarters, 21-1. He does have the fastest ever, regardless of the mile. 1:21-1 for three quarters. And Jate Lobel, who is battling fatigue, as you would expect him to do, is going to be at the wire in 1:51-3. A great effort, Mark O'Mara and Jate Lobel. Ring fatigue, as you would expect him to do, is going to be at the wire in 1:51 and 3. A great effort, Mark O'Mara and Jate Lobel. Three-quarters, and Jate Lobel, who is battling fatigue, as you would expect him to do, is going to be at the wire in 1:51 and 3. A great effort, Mark O'Mara. Filled yet today, should it be opened, as he goes to stud with a great effort, Mark O'Mara.
They're at the post, and the gate is rolling. Go intentionally, 2:03 and 2 for Ron Marsh. Jen Miss, 2:05 flat with Jim Taylor driving. Here they come. They're off and trotting on the inside. Go intentionally first out. Away second far outside. Cammy Ranger. Between them trotting third. Princess Laura. Away four as they power to the first turn. Easy Alice. Trotting five on the inside. Sneaking up as they roll around the turn. Jen Miss. Trotting six on the outside. Moving middle of the racetrack. Tarbella Jade. Racing seven Cardinal Pearl. Trotting eight. Moving middle of the racetrack. Stunning Gal. Nine Miss Noble Hair. Racing 10 Heather Iona. 11 Jarko Karen. Off stride at the back, second class in 29 seconds as they turn down the backstretch. On the outside, trotting with the lead by 3/4 of a length, and now rolling toward the front. There goes Princess Laura. Princess Laura on top by a length and a half for Hamilton. Trotting second down the backside, Cammy Ranger. Dropped in third along the rail as they approach the half as Go Intentionally. Racing next on the inside, Jen Miss. Roughgate take it up on the outside. Easy Alice dropping back. They're being led to the half-mile station by Princess Laura. Princess Laura heads them past the half. Trotting second, Cammy Ranger. Third tipping to the outside, Go Intentionally. Moving forward, middle of the racetrack, Tarbella Jade. Racing five on the inside as they slip past the draw gate, Jen Miss. Six, Stunning Gal. Back trotting but seven, Easy Alice. Racing eight, Heather Iona. Trotting nine, Jarko Karen. 10, Miss Noble Hair. And a minute 1/5. Racing next, Cardinal Pearl. And second class can see the entire field of two-year-old trotting fillies. They're at the 3/4. Trotting with the lead on the inside, Princess Laura. On the outside, still easing up second as they approach the head of the lane. Here comes Go Intentionally. That's Go Intentionally, middle of the racetrack. And now coming right back at us, trotters are jammed up behind the leaders. We have a loose horse coming at them, Easy Alice. Easy Alice, middle of the racetrack. Easy Alice and the White Banks coming on. And that filly is trotting a storm in the final 16th. Easy Alice and the White Banks. Gentlemen, loose horse behind you. Easy Alice wins it. We need an ambulance, please. Ambulance to the 3/4 pole, please. Ambulance to the 3/4. 2:05 1/5 on that one, unofficially Easy Alice.
Here they come. They're off and pacing on the outside. She's a Player. Extreme outside, Step-A-Tune. Down along the rail, Leisure Cruise. Between horses, Silent Track is 4. Racing 5 is She'll Be Streaking as that field thunders into the first turn. And Step-A-Tune makes a top, drops in now against the rail. Leisure Cruise second. She's a Player. Park moving up. There goes She's a Player. Driving past fillies. Now leads it by a nose, neck, half a length. On the inside, Step-A-Tune picks up cover second. Third, Leisure Cruise. 4 on the inside as they drive toward the quarter-mile mark and past it, a Silent Track. 5 as they race past that mark is She'll Be Streaking. They were there in 28-1. They're on the backstretch. Racing on the inside, 6 is Radiant Jubilee. 7, Miss McWolf. 8th against the rail, Foxy Jailbait. At the back of that field of pacing fillies, Trey Chic as they drive down the backstretch, led by She's a Player. She's a Player and Walt Paisley lead by a length and a half. Waiting second, Step-A-Tune getting a trip. Third on the inside, Leisure Cruise. 4, Silent Track. They're at the half and now tip to the outside. Here comes Radiant Jubilee. Half and 58-1 that quarter and 30. They're now at the draw gate. And now there goes Step-A-Tune driving to the front with authority. And Step-A-Tune takes command as they race toward three quarters. She quickly opens up 3 lengths. And Radiant Jubilee keeps moving on the outside. Now she's third. She's a player still second. Leisure Cruise locked in tight fourth. On the outside, Miss McWolf 5. 6 along the rail, Silent Track. 7 on the outside, Foxy Jailbait. 8, She'll Be Streaking. 9 and trailing. At the top of the lane is Trey Chic. They're past three quarters. 1:26.3. Step-A-Tune leads them into the lane. She's on top by 3. On top by 3. Radiant Jubilee still on the outside. Still closing ground. She's second. Third is She's a Player. 4 is Leisure Cruise. 5, Miss McWolf. They race to the wire. Step-A-Tune. Here comes Miss McWolf and Radiant Jubilee. But it's still Step-A-Tune on the outside. Miss McWolf. Step-A-Tune wins it. Photo. Multiple horse photo for second. Step-A-Tune home on top. 1:55.1. Miss McWolf in a photo for second. Six will qualify from this race, joining the 6 from the last race in the final. Here they come. They're off and pacing between horses. TT Roman Flame for the lead. On the inside, Sweet Society out fast. Casey away quick, as is Chandelia's Star. Battle for the early lead. On the outside, TT Roman Flame. On the inside, Sweet Society. Sweet Society has it. They're 4 deep behind her as they race toward the quarter-mile mark. Sweet Society and Hostetler lead. On the inside, getting away second is Sar Bear. Casey still 3 deep. She's third. Between horses, fourth, TT Roman Flame. 5 along the rail, Chandelia's Star. Racing 6 on the inside, Ideal Rita. 7 is Dreamy Girl. At the back of that field is Missy Key as they race past the quarter. 28.3. They're on the backstretch. Headed toward the half-mile mark. On the outside, Casey still there, still trying to get to the front. On the inside, Sweet Society by a length. On the outside, Casey parked. Racing third along the rail, getting a trip, Sar Bear. TT Roman Flame found room, dropped in fourth on the inside. Chandelia's Star didn't. She's parked fifth. Racing 6 with cover, Ideal Read on the outside. 7, Missy Key, trailing that field, Dreamy Girl. Half 57.3, and now they're at the draw gate. And the leader, Sweet Society by a length. On the inside, second as they drive around the turn, Sar Bear. And here comes Chandelia's Star. Racing up on the outside, was fifth, then fourth, then third, now second. Behind her, Ideal Rita. And they're in pursuit of the leader, still leading Sweet Society, racing toward three quarters. Chandelia's Star second on the outside, and now tipped out 3 wide. And coming on at the top of the lane is Ideal Rita. They're there at 27.2. Along the rail as they turn for home. Leading in the stretch by a length and a half as they're in the final 8th mile is Sweet Society. On the outside, off stride now, Chandelia's Star. And now coming on, Missy Key, also trying to move up Ideal Rita. But Sweet Society has them headed by 4. Sweet Society cruising in this one. Sweet Society gets a mark of 55.3. Under the wire, second unofficially, Ideal Rita. Third was Missy Key. Finishing 4, Sar Bear. 5, TT Roman Flame. Gamby Starlight, one of the big surprises of this meeting. From the pole, here they come. They're off and trotting, Installed grabs the lead on the outside. Away second as they trot toward the turn is Ms. Miser. Installed is off stride. Installed has made a break middle of the field. And now I see you two on the inside. Gamby Sugar picks her way through Trotter. She's on the outside. She takes command. There goes Gamby Sugar trotting to the lead. And outside her, Ms. Miser now makes a top. So the lead changes hands before the quarter. Miss Miser, Dirk Simpson settled in along the rail. Second on the inside, Gamby Sugar. On the outside, Rush Creek Shannon is driving up to be second. Now the leader as they race past the quarter in 29 seconds. And now they're on the backstretch and making the top, leading as they head down the backside. Rush Creek Shannon on the outside. Trying to move now is Ms. Miser as they race to the half-mile mark. She's third. Second is Steel Gated. Now Steel Gated makes a top. Lead has changed hands 3 times before the half. Steel Gated makes the lead. They're approaching the half. Second on the inside at that marker will be Rush Creek Shannon. Third along the rail, Miss Miser. 4 on the inside, Gamby Sugar. 5, I See You 2. 6, Gamby Starlight. 7 past that mark is Tough Hill's Hope. And on the outside, Racing 8, moving up now as they race toward the upper turn, is Idlewild Mini. They're there in 58.3. They're past the draw gate and leading the way toward 3/4 by just a length. As they race around the upper turn is Rush Creek Shannon. On the outside, second is Gamby Sugar. Third is Steel Gated. On the outside, moving fourth, Gamby Starlight. Here comes Gamby Starlight with a lot of trot. She's tipped out 3 wide for Tom Collier. And now I See You 2 must find room immediately. She's been buried. Still is as they race toward 3/4. Mary Lou Kay rushes up on the outside. She's fifth. They're at the 3/4 at 129.1. Trotting Fillies fan out. They're at the 3/4 at 129.1. Trotting Fillies fan out across the racetrack. On the inside, Rush Creek Shannon. On the outside, Gamby Sugar. Here comes Gamby Starlight. Trotting a storm on the outside. Gamby Starlight as they race to the wire. On the inside, finding room along the rail is Miss Miser. It's going to be a photo. Miss Miser might have reached. Photo between her and Rush Creek Shannon. Pole home, and that's the way it developed. They're at the post. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Sweet Society has the racetrack immediately. On the inside out, second Step-A-Tune. Rushing out third, Missy Key. Quickly over against the rail fourth. As they race toward the turn is Radiant Jubilee. And now around the turn toward the quarter-mile mark. On the inside with the lead by a length, Sweet Society. Ducked in second Step-A-Tune. And here comes Radiant Jubilee. Powering toward the front was fourth, then third, now second. Radiant Jubilee has made the top. Sweet Society picks up cover. Third on the inside is Step-A-Tune. Fourth along the rail, Leisure Cruise. 5 on the outside, She's a Player. 6 along the rail as they race past the quarter-mile mark, Missy Key. 7 on the outside is Sar Bear. Racing 8 on the inside, Ideal Rita. 9, Miss McWolf. 10 on the inside, TT Roman Flame. 11, Foxy Jailbait. Quarter, 27.3. Fillies racing as they head down the backstretch. And leading the way by a length and a half, Sweet Society. She popped back to the front before the half. Outside her, She's a Player. Second along the rail, Radiant Jubilee. Third, Leisure Cruise. 4. 5 is Step-A-Tune as they reach the half, 56.3. And a big mile unfolds as the fillies are at the draw gate. And leading the way as they race past that mark, Sweet Society. On the outside, She's a Player getting a tough trip second. And now coming on, Miss McWolf with pace on the outside. She's 3 deep. Racing on the inside, Radiant Jubilee. Hunt's Racing Room fourth. Leisure Cruise dropping back 5. Sarbear is 6. 7 locked in, Step-A-Tune. She needs daylight. Racing on the inside next as they're at the 3/4 mile mark is Missy Key. They're there 126.3. And after a 30-second third quarter, they should roll home. They're at the top of the lane. And Miss McWolf on the outside, on the inside. Sweet Society. Here comes Radiant Jubilee between fillies. Far outside, also trying to move up still. She's a Player. Now Step-A-Tune. Step-A-Tune can't find daylight. Weaving, bobbing, no place to go. Sweet Society hanging tough. Here comes Radiant Jubilee. Sweet Society has won it. 155.3. Sweet Society has won the Illinois State Fair for 3-year-old pacing fillies.